All right, hello there. Welcome back to my video. So it's been a while since the last time I uploaded the part one of creating Baryon Mode fashion set model for Flyff game, and today we're gonna be doing the part two. All right. Okay. So by the way, as you notice, I'm speaking in English right now because I've received several messages on Facebook requesting if I can do the tutorial in English. Um, I don't know, maybe they're not Filipino, but they wanted to learn how to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so um, what we're gonna do today is the Nine Tails cloak of Kurama Baryon mode or Naruto Baryon mode fashion set. So what we're gonna do with that Nine Tails cloak is we're gonna act it as if it's a animated wing mask. Okay. Um, and also another thing is we're not going to be creating this model from scratch. All right. So I basically found a, pre-made model online. We're going to be using the Ninetale Baryon um, cloak of it. Okay. And then and the later part of this video, I'm going to be showing you as well on how you can download cool wings that you can use for your flight server game and how to pretty much do animation on it. But basically, this video is mainly focused on how you can create excuse me animation to the wing mask with a bone. All right. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So I do have my 3ds Max application opened here. I'm just gonna go ahead and import the pre-made model that I found online. Okay, all right, and that's gonna be this. All right, so this is the model now. Um, Initially, this model is actually a high poly count model. I believe there were 75,000 face vertices on it, but I was able to shrink it down all the way to 3,000 face vertices. Let me actually show you how I do that too, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and click one of this model, and then under Modify tab on the right panel, I'm just going to bring up the Pro Optimizer there. Okay, so let me just calculate the current points vertices that it has right now. So currently it has 3,810, but definitely way better than the 75,000 um, vertices points. Okay, but you would want to make sure that when you shrink it down, is you don't lose too much quality on the model itself. All right, but you may lose some part of it, just like I did. As you can see here on the upper part of the cloak, uh, the mesh is a bit, I don't know, messed up. Okay, so how I do it is after I calculate the current vertices points that model has, on this vertex percent, you can just simply specify how many vertex percent you would want it to show, like 50%, and then enter. So you can see the model shrink down and it looks messed up. But anyway, yeah, that's not, you would not want to go that far. You would want to make sure to, or you would want to keep the quality of the model. So I'll just leave it as 100%. But that's how I did to shrink it down from a high poly count to a low poly count. Okay, 3,000 vertex points is still quite a lot, but definitely way better than the 75 vertex points. Okay, so that's how you um, convert a high poly count to a low poly count model. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that, but because that's not what we're gonna do. Okay, so we will have to do animation on this model. Okay. By the way, you don't have to download this from where I downloaded it. I'm just gonna go ahead and um, add this to the description, and you can just download it from there. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up the bone tools. So I'll go to animation tab, and then Bone Tools. I'm using 3ds Max 2020. I'm not sure what version of Max you are using, but yeah, just have to bring up the Bone Tools from that version of Max you're using. Okay. Anyway, there you go. So I do have the Bone Tools now, the Bone Tools window. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on Create Bones, and by default, um, the bones are way too big. So you would want it to scale it down by going here under Bone Object. You would just want to select or switch it to 0.05. Same thing on the height. That way, it's not way too big. All right. And then what I do when I add bone, I just click on the top view. Oh, top view. All right, to make sure that I'm gonna be aligning it properly. Okay, then let's create bones. So this first bone, I call it a base bone. I normally don't do animation of that. And then this is the initial bone. I'm gonna go ahead and create like 5 bone structure. 2, and then 3, and 4. And then to let go, to finish creating the bone, just have to right click on your mouse. There. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and align this now, like so. Okay. And then, all right. By the way, before we do all the alignment, after creating the first set of bone, what I did to this is I duplicate the bone already. That way, I'm not creating the bone all over again, right? So I'm just to duplicate it. Just click on the first button, press shift on your keyboard, and then click on the last one to highlight them all, and then right click and click clone. And then for cloning, um, you would want to choose copy. All right. And then I can just go ahead and hide this copied bone and then shrink it down. All right. That's basically how I do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and excuse me. Let's go ahead and align this now properly to the mesh that we have here. Okay, then this. All right. Okay, so it's not properly aligned on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and fix that too. On the bone 3, just gonna go ahead and rotate it like this. Okay, that should be all right now. Okay, so we now have positioned the first set of bone. What we'll do is we click on the model object itself, and then before we add the bone to the model, what I do is to attach it first, because I'm just going to do the animation in one model. Okay, so by the way, on attaching models, you would want to make sure to convert one of them at least to editable poly, and then click on attach, and you can click either on this left panel, uh, click the other model, or you can also just click directly on the scene screen. Then on the attach option, you can leave it as this, and there you go. It's perfect. Okay, and then let's go to the modify tab, and then let's bring up the skin modifier. You can just type it in on your keyboard to go to it quickly. All right, and then here on this part here, this is where we add the bone. So we click the add button, then press Control on the keyboard and then click on this arrow key to bring up all the sub bones, and then we can just highlight them all as well. There we go. So we now have the bones attached to this model right here. However, um, by default, normally the rigging of it is messed up. So, like this one. If we try to move, the tail, the other tails are moving too. Some parts of it are moving. So we're gonna have to fix that by correcting the weight paint. Okay, so let's go back here on the model and then let's go ahead and expand this skin and then let's click envelope. So this is where we can see the current weight paint of the bones that we have on the model. Okay, so on the bone one, I don't know if you can see it, but on this part, on the bottom part of this model, there's a bit of a dark shade, right? And then on the upper part, it's a lighter shade. That is because those are the weight paints. This darker shade, there's this darker shade, this darker shade are the weight paints. Okay, that's why when we move the bone, this part right here, this and this are also moving. So we're gonna have to remove these extra weight paint that we have on the model. To do that, we just have to scroll down and then click on this weight tool or the wrench icon and to bring up the weight tool. Okay, and then let's go up. Oop, oop. Okay. All right, so what you want to make sure to highlight this edit envelopes in blue. Okay, and then tick this vertices, and there you go. We can control A on the keyboard to highlight all the vertices points. And using this, by default, it's set to this rectangular. Using this tool here, um, there, you can click and hold and drag your mouse to the lasso tool, this one. Okay, and then to deselect the vertices points, you just have to press Alt key on the keyboard and then draw it like that. See? Okay, let's just keep doing it for the rest. Okay, I think this should be fine now. All right, and then here on the weight tool, we just have to select one to get rid of those extra weight paints that are added on the other parts. Okay, and then leave the weight paints on this tail right here. All right, that's perfect. All right, so you can just click away or click on the anywhere on the scene to let go of the selection of the vertex points. And then let's go ahead and check the weight paint of the other bones as well. Let's see the second one. Okay, it's perfect. The third, all right, it's cool. Fourth, and the fifth. Okay, it's perfect. All right, so now what we will do is make an animation, of course. All right, so let's start on this bone one. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the rotate tool. And by the way, to do animation, you can either do set key or auto key. I normally just use auto key that way because I sometimes forget to. Because if you do set key, you would have to manually click on the set keys button here. But I normally forget clicking that, so I have to redo the animation. But anyhow, I'm just gonna use auto key and then yeah, let's just start with this key right here. Okay, and then let's move to 5 and do it like this. And maybe by the way, um you'd want to make sure that the end point of your animation is the same point of your start animation. So what I do to make sure of that is just I click on that keyframe, then press on what do you call that? Press shift on your keyboard, press it and hold, and then drag it like so to duplicate that layer with the same position. As you can see, it went back to the same exact position it had before the animation starts. All right, and then I'm just gonna make it like that as well. And again, it has to end to the same position as where it started. Okay, if we play the animation, it's way too fast. Okay, let's go ahead and adjust it. Maybe we can put it to 10. You can highlight it, by the way, like that, and then drag it. If you wanted to drag a copy of it, then you press Shift on the keyboard before you drag it. All right, so there you go. We have now the first movement. Okay, but that's not all. We need to do movement on the other bones as well, like this one. Let's do the keyframe, and then let's move to 10. Mm, let's delay it a bit, like this. That way it looks a bit, and then there. See, there's like how do you say that? It's like ease in animation if you're doing a like a CSS um thing for a web development. All right, it looks cool, but it's not complete yet. Okay, so we have just done animation to first bone, second bone. Now we will do animation to the third bone as well. So let's also delay this a bit, like this. Then when I say delay, it means that the next keyframe of this second bone is how do you call this? Is higher than the keyframe of the first bone. As if you remember the keyframes that we had on the first bone is from 0 to 10, and then we delay it. That's why the next bone we put it to somewhere here, right? Actually, let's rotate it more. Um, and then let's grab the first keyframe and then put it to the 40. Again, press shift to do duplicate. Let's play the animation. Okay. Let's also do animation on the fourth bone. We're not gonna do animation to the fifth bone because it's like the end point of our bone structure. Okay, and then let's just delay it a little bit more as well, like so. Okay, then actually let's put it like that. It's got hump on here, but it's not really visible in game, so. And then let's just grab this first keyframe again and put it to 40. Um, you would just want to maximize it all the way to 90. Ah, sorry. Okay, so we're done with the animation um from 0 to 40. Now we need to duplicate that animation to so to do that we need to highlight all the bones. That way we get all the animation keyframes on each one of them. And then let's just highlight them by doing so. Okay. Then again, shift on the keyboard and drag it like this. Okay. Let's make it 130. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, it's animating perfectly. Oh, great. Okay, so that's how you do the animation on each of the tail of this Baryon Mode nine-tail cloak. And I'm just gonna fast forward this till we get animation to all of these tail. Okay. Okay, so this is now the finished animation of our Baryon Mode Ninetales cloak as animated wing mask. So yeah. Next thing we need to do is to, of course, export this. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how to export this. All right, let me just locate the path where I wanted to export to. Um, oh, here. All right, so we're gonna want to export this as a .day file or .die, and I'm just gonna name this as final .die. Okay. All right, and when you're exporting that die with animation, you would want to make sure to also check this resample all, and also notice this time here. So the animation will render from 0 to 100 keyframes. Okay, and then no, we don't want to remove any single keyframe. All right, so the rest leave it as is, and then you can just click OK. There you go. All right, now let's go ahead and test it out. Oops, hold on. Okay, let's open our A tools or model editor, and then let's go ahead and drag this final.die. Okay, so that, what is this? Hold on. Oh, by the way, another thing is that I've also just added some more details on it. As you can see, let me actually show it to you here. Okay, so as you can see here, Naruto's Baryon mode, Nine Tails cloak actually has like highlights on the what is this? Like the sides of the cloaks, right? Or the tails. What I did to kind of imitate the same effect here in 3ds Max, I just cloned this and then instead of copy, I do it instance. That way, all the animation things that I did on this model object are going to be copied as well on the second object. All right, so to make it look like this is I just resize the copy of it like this. So using this uniform scale tool on top, um, here at the center, you would want to make sure that you do it at the center because if you do it just on one axis, it's gonna look funny. Okay, so you want to do it at the center to make it big like that. So it scales from all axes like so. Okay, and what I did is to just align it like that. Reason why I did that because in A tools I can make this second model transparent. So it's like see through so I can see what's behind it. Okay, so after exporting that to a .dai file or .day file, it's gonna look like this. See. So by default, once you imported the .day file that has animation, it's also gonna automatically play here on the model editor. Okay, so what you would want to do is to also just correct the opacity of each layers, like this one. Then let's make it to visible side. Same thing here. Okay, but this one, we're gonna lower down the opacity of it, say 150, like that. Okay. All right. So it looks a bit messy, but I think it looks cool. But yeah, you can just play around with the opacity under settings or edit effects. And from here, you can also change the texture. If you wanted to change the texture of this a bit of orange, then you can do it from here. Then locate the texture file that you wanted to replace it with. By the way, another thing before I forget, you would want to make sure that this animated wing mask is aligned here on the floor. Now, for you to be able to get the right size of it, what I do is actually import here, or give me 1 second. From here, um, where is it now? Okay, what I do is I export either a .dai or .day file or .dai or .obj model of the character in game. So you can look this up on your model folder. It's the part underscore mail lower .o3d. You can get that file from your model folder as well as the um, upper body. Where is it now? Here. It should combine if you both import it to the model editor. Now you can save this either that day file or that obj, but I'm just gonna save this as obj to make it fast. Then let's just save it here. I'm just gonna name this template there, and then on the 3ds Max, I'm just gonna import that. Hmm, hold on, did I import it correctly? Oh no, I didn't. Obj there. Okay, so let's just import that in here. Um, okay, I'll just unselect this because I already have GM object 1 is 0 here. It'll be replaced, so I'm just gonna unselect that. That's fine. If you get this error, just click skip. Okay, so we now have the basic size of the model in game. So I just wanted to resize your animated wing um, to, you know, not too big for the character. And then you wanted to position the wing mask on the bottom part of, like on the foot part of the character. Because animated wing mask feature actually automatically brings this up here. So you have to, because if you put this mask already aligned at the back of the character in game, it's gonna look like this. The this mask is gonna be here. So that's not how you want to do it. Okay, there you go. Yeah, just want to add that too. Okay, so we have now the that date file from the 3ds Max, and this has a model and the animation of it. So let's go ahead and grab it and put it to our model editor. By the way, if you don't have the model editor yet, you might want to consider watching the part 1 of this tutorial. Mentioned there how you can get a tools with this model editor as well as Flight game server files. There you go. So we now have the animation that we did from the 3ds Max, as you can see. And then we're gonna have to save this as day file again, okay? But let's just go ahead and grab the path here. And then let's just name this, this has to be item underscore, um, say Baryon Mode mask that day file. Okay, so, oh, hold on. I forgot. We have to put the action name here underscore stand that day file. Okay, and then let's remove this. All right, and then let's go ahead and close the model editor again, and let's put this. Okay, now we should be able to save this as that .ani file there. Earlier, we don't have this motion file option. So it's either you rename this directly to something like this, or you can just drag it here to the model editor and save it from there with this name right here. Okay, and then let's see. We now have to save this as that .ani file, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. Um, leave the name as it is. Save. Uh, do we already have it here? Oh, no. Okay, let's put it to where we want to save it to. Okay, right, that .ani file. Perfect. Okay, so we now have the .ani file of it. We also have to get the .chr of this model. Okay. Again, this one, this that .die file with underscore stand, we go ahead and grab that and drag it to the model editor application again, and save this as .o3d. However, yeah, we have to remove the action there. Save. Ah, I forgot the path again. That O3D. So this has to be that O3D, and there you have it. Okay, so as you can see here, we now have the .o3d file of the model, the .chr. This is the bone, and of course the what is this? The .ani or animation. And now for the rest of the actions, we can also just copy this, right? And then after copying it, um, we can just rename this. This file, yes, we can rename it, but not the .o3d, okay? Because .o3d is already encrypted. We can't just simply rename it. Let's go ahead and change the action of this to say run underscore run. Let's copy that as well. So it's all gonna be the same animation. We're just, specifying it on a specific action. Um, rename. This one, let's do it walk. Okay. We only need those three because, we don't need to specify each of the other actions like jump, fall, or jump start. Okay, because we're only doing the animated wing mask. Okay, so this one is good now. Let's go ahead and pull up again our model editor. And then let's go ahead and view it from here. Let's go ahead and grab our .o3d file. And there we have it. We have the bone, we have the model, and we have these motions here. These are the .ani file. If we double click one of them, it's gonna automatically run the animation. Okay. And also, by the way, disregard this, what is this? This character bone structure here. It was supposed not to be there, but anyway, I was able to. I forgot to remove the file of it when I extracted it from the 3ds Max, so I leave it as it is. Anyway, it's fine. It's not gonna have any problem in game. So, all right. But anyway, you would just want to don't include that if you want to do it yourself. All right. So there you have it. We now have the .o3d file that is compatible in game. Okay, so earlier on the first part of the video, I mentioned that I'm going to be showing you guys how to or where to get a pre-made 3D models for wings. And let's go ahead and do that too. Okay, so using your browser, just go to google.com and then on the search bar, you can just type in here 3D wings DeviantArt. So this is a site that you can get a whole bunch of 3D models, including wings, just like this one. Actually, it looks like this one is cool. Let's try this. Okay, let's visit. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one. Let's see if it's got download option. Normally, there will be a download option here. If there is none, you would just want to go to the description and there should be download. Or most of the time, there will be download link there. Okay, let's go ahead and try this though if it'll let us to download the model itself. No, it's not. It's just a .png. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and try something else. Mm, how about this one? Oh, this one. Okay, let's try this. Hopefully there is a download option. There's a download option for $3.75. Now we're not going to pay for it. Let's just try to find something else. There's a lot in here. You just really have to go through it and see if you can download the model or not. But most of the time you can download them here. Let's go ahead and try this. Where is it? Okay. Okay, how about this one? Let's go ahead and try to download this. I believe there is a download option here for the model itself. Yes. Okay, so if it says here zip, that means it's the model. Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and try to download this. Hold on, let me just get the path where I wanted to save it to. Okay, and save. All right, so that should be this one. Let's go ahead and extract this. All right, and most of the times, models extensions from this site is .pmx, .pmd, um, .mesh or .msh. Yeah, those extension. You can open those with Blender. You just need the specific add-ons to be able to import those models to your Blender. You can just Google them. There are already tutorials on how to do it. I'm not going to include it on this video. Okay, so after we extract it, let's see what the file is. Um, MQO. Where the heck is the PMD? Oh, there we go. So this is the PMD file. Let's go ahead and pull up our Blender. Um, oop, let's just get the path of this and let's go ahead and import it. Import PMD or PMX. Okay. let's go ahead and try to view it with the texture. It's just anyway. Not too familiar with Blender though on how to work on it. I'm still uh planning to. I'm still in the process of learning it though, but haven't really got it started yet. But yeah, what I normally do if I get a model from the internet, I just import it here and then export it to something like day file, or I can also just import it to object, okay, and then just animate it on 3ds Max. Yeah, that's what I do. And then you can just texture or color the texture, or actually it's already here. There are already texture in here, so you can just copy this and set it to the mesh itself. All right, so yeah, that's basically it for how you can get a Wings 3D models. Um, there's definitely other site that you can, get a model from, but um, I leave it to you to explore, okay? But anyway, like I said, there are tons of models that you can get from DeviantArt for free. You just have to really browse through it, okay? All right, so that's basically all for this tutorial. Part three will be a animated, or actually not an animated. It's gonna be Kurama's Spirit Cloak. Like I said, I'm gonna be creating that from scratch. So if you wanted to learn how to really create a model from scratch, then uh, if you wanted to learn how to really create a model from scratch, then that's gonna be the video for you. Alrighty, and that is all. Thank you so much for dropping by, and I hope you have subscribed already and click that notification bell. That way, whenever we upload a new videos, you're gonna get notified. Okay? And that is all from me. Thank you so much and peace out.